For inviting me here today. I'm Bill Coleman. I work on behalf of the Blandin Foundation. I'm a contractor to the foundation and serve as a community broadband coach for the communities. I want to congratulate you on your designation as Blandin Broadband Community, one of 9 in the state. And I'm your, I have a colleague, and I got the long straw, so I get to do the work in Parle Valley, and working with Renee and the team that she's assembled has been really positive. Oh, that's my machine. Sorry about that. David Byrne, Talking Heads. Sorry about that. There we go. Technology gets out of control sometimes, so especially with me running it. As a Blandin Broadband Community, your community is eligible to receive technical assistance and then eligible to apply for funding, probably an average of $75,000 that you're eligible to receive. We've had 1 round of funding so far. The district received funds for computers, mobile computers, and for the streaming video that schools and communities will be able to use. But more things online, community meetings, community events, both on the local television and online. So that will help. You know, one of the big things about broadband is some people say, well, what would I ever use that for? Well, when your grandkids are playing basketball or in class play, or you want to watch a school board meeting or something like that, then people say, well, there's now the value of this connection. That makes it worthwhile to subscribe. And so that's one of the things that was throughout this program. We're really trying to show people the value that they can get from adopting broadband. The community has done a great job in defining projects. We had rooms full of people here on a couple occasions to look at the community as a whole and see what the strengths and weaknesses were, to develop project ideas and vote on them. And a lot of times people like to vote and say that's a really great project, and then they walk out the door. Well, we reward the voters who say they'll help on projects, and so we don't get projects that are really popular but no one wants to work on it. So we've got a great track record of getting people that come up with project ideas, invest in them, and then the projects are a good success.
And the reward wasn't monetary, it was that you got to vote for another one.
That's right, that's right. So, and but so many of these community efforts that we're involved in, you know, there's not a lot of staff people to assign tasks to, and so if they're really going to get done, the communities have to take the lead on that. The lack of Parle Valley is quite unique in Minnesota. I work all over the state, and the network connectivity that you have here, the fiber optic to the home through so much of your community, is quite unique. And many community leaders, when I work with them, they say, oh, we can't do anything, woe is us, because our broadband isn't the greatest. And even though they could do a lot with what they have, they choose not to. In this community, you don't really have that opportunity to say we can't do anything, because the network you have is really world-class and can enable really whatever your imagination and determination brings. I mentioned that we've been through the first round of funding. The second round of funding now will be grants due in December, with the grants awarded in January. So we just had a meeting today about community Wi-Fi, and that was one of the project ideas, and we'll be working with a group to look at what the community priorities were and develop those other ideas as well. And so it's one of the things that we've learned in these community broadband efforts is that, you know, all the ideas don't come at once, and people build on success, and our new ideas come and new coalitions build. Renee was talking about meeting with sheriffs about public safety and emergency management, and who knows what might come out of meetings there. The sheriffs were all at our broadband meeting and developed some new rapport, so that's good. When it comes to broadband and education now, the fact that there aren't any network barriers really allows you to do a lot of new and interesting things. And so when we see things that, you know, you could have set a goal as a community to have that world-class education. and with access to online learning and video conferencing, these MOOCs, these massive open online courses that universities are now offering. University of Minnesota has jumped on board with that, but MIT and Stanford, you're able to take classes from some of the most prestigious professors in the world, and you can be a ninth grader, you can be a 40-year-old person, 50, 60, you know, doesn't matter now. And so the ability to facilitate that learning and encourage it, I think, is really a changing role for a school now. It used to be, well, if we're gonna have classes, they're gonna be right here in this building. And now people can be at home, they could be in a coffee shop with a group of people taking class together, all kinds of things. And that could be around agriculture, it could be around healthcare. And I think one issue you guys certainly have is an access to higher education facilities. And so if you want your people to have the highest levels of education and to facilitate and motivate that, I think there's a real opportunity for you there. The, just in K-12 education, this idea of the flipped classroom now, where kids get the lectures at home on video or online, and then come on, take classes or take quick quizzes to see who knows what, and then teachers giving either group assistance or individual assistance to students. That is really changing the way we see a lot of school districts offering their education. One of the things when I heard you talk about free and reduced lunch, though, that brings issues about equity, about who's got a computer, who's got connectivity at home. And so I think that is a challenge for a school district. Renee's been real active with the PCs for People initiative, the idea that people should have a computer and know how to use it and connect them up to telecom providers who offer some kind of discount. You know, I think that's something that's really important in every district. And when you have school buildings at 60%, you know, free and reduced lunch, that's a big crowd of people who may not have that connectivity. The beautiful thing about that is when you do help the student, generally you're helping the family as well. When they have access to the education and the other things. So that is a very positive thing that we're seeing. In my visits here to the region, I've met a lot of talented people, and we think about broadband, and oftentimes it's, well, let's go get that Harvard content, you know, let's go get it, the information from the experts. But I think there's real opportunity as well for people in this region to create content and deliver that to a global audience. You know, your farm community, the whole idea about geese, you know, and you know, world-class assets there, and in your hunting environment and so on. There's a lot of content that you have that people would be interested in. And so once again, with the facilities you have in the school, or working with public television, you know, how do you get that local content out to a global market? And the technology definitely allows that. You don't have to be, you know, in LA or in New York City to create content. So I think we don't often think about that. What kind of brain power, what kind of resource assets do we have right here in our own communities, and how we promote that? Today, there's Blandin featured a webinar around community branding, and that whole idea of what you have that's unique. And the person talking about the branding is how narrowly focused can you be? So it's not, oh, come to LqParle, it's got great hunting. It's, we've got this goose hunting, you know. So just on all these things, you know, when you have the fiber to the home network, that's a real particular thing that you can use to attract people and talent and make your community better known. I look forward to working with you guys as we continue on. It's a 24-month commitment, and we're kind of 1/4 of the way through that, just a little more. Encourage you to really think about those projects and strategies that using technology can make your school district and your community stronger and more vibrant. The fact that you have that network again is, you know, I've worked with some communities, and that's, network is all they think about. They have 60–70% of their community members do not have access to broadband. Kanabec County, Town of Mora is served fine, but out in the outlying area where most of the people live, 15,000 of the 18,000 people in the county live outside the town of Mora. And so they have very limited access to broadband, and they are very deficient there. You guys have quite that asset. So I encourage you to really try and make use of that and be as aggressive as you possibly can. So thanks for your commitment as community leaders, and thanks for your participation in the broadband and initiative, and thanks for your support to Renee, because I know she's spending a bit of time on this initiative, and because that's what it takes to be successful. So thank you very much. That answered any questions.